Okay, to get started, we're going to need some Bernat Swedish, which is a new yarn. It's like a ribbon yarn. I'm sort of obsessed with it. You're going to need a crochet hook size N 10mm or thereabouts. You're going to need a smaller hook that fits through your bead, and you're going to need a bead with a big hole because you're going to want to get some strands of yarn through there. And of course you'll need scissors, and you're going to be able to do this in minutes. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot, and I'm going to do that. I'd like to tell you I measure, but I don't. I usually just go in the length from my fingertip to my elbow because who knows when I'm going to have a tape measure around. So I'm going to go ahead and make a slip knot and put that on my hook, and you're going to chain. My number's 32. I'd like to tell you this is a serious math thing, but it's not. You could go longer than 32, you could go shorter than 32, but all I'm doing to chain is bringing that yarn over my hook from the back and bringing it through the loop on my hook. So you can make this even if you don't crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep going until I have made my 32 chains. So here I've made my 32 chains. I'm going to pull off about as much yarn as I started with, which again, in the interest of not making myself crazy, I pretty much go from my fingertip to my elbow. And then I'm going to pull that cut end, yarn over like a chain, pull it all the way through so that it won't unravel. So here's my big chain. I'm going to do this 5 more times. Now you can make them all the same color, you can make them 3 different colors, whatever you want to do, because we're going to braid when we're done. So I want a total of 6. Alright, here are my 6 chained strands with my long tails on either side, and I've lined them up so that all of the knots are together. So I'm going to tie them all together with a simple overhand knot, and I'm going to get as close to those top knots as I can. All right, now I'm going to divide my strands into 3 groups of 2, and I'm going to just do a simple braid. So my right goes into the center over the top, then my left goes into the center over the top. I'm not going to pull this super tight. I want it to be flexible and have a little bit of drape. And what you can't see off camera is after I bring each strand over, I'm running my fingers through the tails because otherwise they get totally tangled and you will not be happy. So every time or two that I make a cross, I'm untangling those tails so I don't have a big giant knot at the end. And if you braid hair or horses or anything like that, it's the same kind of a braid. I've gotten to my knots at the other side, and I'm going to tie 1 more overhand knot. So same deal. I'm going to pull all these little strands up and tie an overhand knot, and I want it to be close to these knots that either began or ended my chained strands, but I don't have to pull it super tight. Just a pretty little overhand knot. Okay, so this is what we have going on so far. Now the last thing I need to do is I'm going to grab my smaller crochet hook and my bead that has the giant hole. And 1 strand at a time, I'm going to pull all the strands through the bead from left to right. Here's 1. 2, etc. So I'm going to do this until all 6 are pulled through. So there's my bead. So now the next thing I have to do is take the other 6 strands and pull them through the bead in the opposite direction. Now it's going to get a little tighter, but that's okay. We don't want the bead to be too slippy. We want it to hold the necklace in place wherever we decide we want it to be. So now I'm going in the opposite direction. So you have 6 strands going one way and 6 strands going the other way. All right, here's our necklace. Here's our strands going up to the bead. There's our bead. Then what I like to do at this point, straighten them all out. Because I'm not a super careful measurer, some are going to be longer than others. So I'm going to grab the shortest one, which is this one. And I don't know what I was thinking there. That one's super short. But I'm going to cut them all to approximately the same length. And I'm going to grab each side, each group of 6, and I'm going to tie another overhand knot near the end because I do not want them to pull out of the bead. Here's my other side. This yarn is so soft, by the way. It's new to me. And here is our completed necklace. Now where I want to put this on, all I have to do is pull through the bead. I can make it tight like a choker, or I can give myself some more room up here and let it hang long. So you can adjust it using the bead, but because that yarn is snug but not too tight, it has movement, but it's not going to come undone super easily. And that's all there is to this very cool Swedish necklace. There is our completed necklace up on the stand. Let's turn it around so we can see the back. There's our bead with our little crossover, and again, those knots are to keep it from coming undone if we don't want it to. So thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, let me know what else you want to see, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.